What's up, guys? Today we're talking about Neo-Nazism in 10 minutes or less. Neo-Nazism is essentially a post-World War II militia group, social group, or attempt at a political movement. People that seek to revive and reinstate the Nazi ideology. Neo-Nazis employ their ideology to promote hatred and white supremacy. They attack racial and ethnic minorities, which include anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and in some cases, a fascist state. What is a fascist state, you wonder? Well, it's a political system ran by a dictator where the government controls business and labor, and any opposition is not permitted. Essentially, what the leader says goes, and no one can speak against that. They can also not be taken out of power and can create laws to stay in power as long as they live, and they can pick their predecessor. Neo-Nazis regularly display the Nazi flag or other symbols and express their admiration for Adolf Hitler. In many Latin and American countries, laws prohibit the expression of pro-Nazi, racist, anti-Semitic, or homophobic views. Many Nazi-related symbols are banned in European countries, especially in Germany, in an effort to curtail neo-Nazism. Quick side note for those of you that don't know, an anti-Semite or anti-Semitism is a person who has hostility or prejudice against Jews. They may also discriminate against Jewish people. Essentially, it's a form of racism. Another part that they speak about is the Fourth Reich. Reich is a German word in reference to empire and kingdom. Germany's so-called First and Second Reich were prior to the Nazi era, and the Third Reich was Hitler's era. Many new Nazis speak of the Fourth Reich, which is a hypothetical idea that some white dude will rise up and rule the fascist state. It's important to note that neo-Nazism is considered to be on the far right of the political spectrum, with some so-called members ranging in their commitment of how racist they want to be. So the far right would be the real extremists, with the center right ranging in how far they're willing to go. It's hard to speak about this without a quick history lesson. Essentially, in the 1940s, during World War II, Hitler's Germany murdered 6 million Jewish people because they were Jewish. This is known as the Holocaust. One of the most disturbing parts of these neo-Nazi groups is called Holocaust denial, where they state it was all a hoax and never actually happened. This is, of course, completely false and incredibly ignorant, disrespectful statement. After World War II, Germany and Austria did their best to minimize these small far-right groups, with one party actually still running in Germany, but made up for less than 1% of the vote. During the late 1970s, a British subculture became associated with neo-Nazism and skinheads, attempting to portray an ultra-masculine, crude, and aggressive image. New developments also started to emerge as former Chilean diplomat Miguel Serrano worked with others to try and bind together several unrealistic theories. In 1984, Serrano published a book called Adolf Hitler, the Ultimate Avatar, that acclaimed Aryans were extragalactic beings who founded Hyperborea and lived a heroic life on a path to Buddhism. Side note, Hyperborea is a Greek word meaning people from the north. Serrano claimed that a new golden age could be attained if the Hyperboreans re-purify their blood and restore their blood memory. So to sum this up, they are aliens from another planet that immigrated to the north and then other parts of the world, and if they can purify their blood, they will be better than they were yesterday. Oh yeah, and they are trying to become Buddhists, which is an Asian religion, which kind of goes against the whole white supremacy thing. You have to be careful if you're dumb. People will try to take advantage of that. I'm a pretty stupid guy, so I have to be extra careful that I don't fall for stupid shit. Once I watched a fake documentary on mermaids, and I actually thought they were real at one point until my spouse Googled it and showed me the doc was a spoof. But sometimes I still wonder, so which direction are we heading? To one of neo-Nazism growing or quieting down? Unfortunately, it seems to be on the rise, or at least it's more visible than it was before, which is in line with small internet groups with similar ideologies growing. On top of that, immigration seems to be larger and more talked about thing now, and many far-rightists are using this to connect with neo-Nazism. Attacks on places of worship and public displays of racism don't seem to be going away. Places like the US, Germany, Sweden are all seeing rises in groups and incidents. That being said, we have to consider that it may just be more visible now and talked about, which may give the appearance of things being on the rise, but in reality, they're staying the same or even in decline. The thing is, when people from these far-right groups look to hold rallies, they're intentionally planning rallies in leftist areas because they are looking to provoke you. And when counter-protests take place, violence often ensues, which is really what they want. When violence ensues, it does not matter who starts it or who gets hurt. People immediately blame both sides and don't know which side to join. But it can be so frustrating when you see these rallies or hear about them. We all want to punch a Nazi in the nose, but there is a difference between a therapeutic response and a strategic one. Holding a protest rally on the other side of town where you know you won't collide with the far-right rally, but you can make your rally more fun. Encourage businesses to join and make it a party. When we confront violence with violence, people are less likely to want anything to do with you, but it may also feel like they have to pick a side. If you fight it with fun, it's easier to join your side, and you're likely to bring in more people. One of my favorite examples is there was going to be a neo-Nazi march through a town in Germany. And instead of fighting it with another rally, a protest rally, this group in Germany got companies and sponsors to raise money for every kilometer the Nazis marched. All the money went to a group that helps people get out of extremist groups. And as the Nazis marched, people showered them with confetti and they cheered them on. They even wrote on the ground a starting mark and a finish line. So that's really how you fight it effectively, folks. And that's all I got for today. Let me know in the comments what you think about this and what you might like to hear about next in the 10 minutes or less.